from Uganda. My name is Naula Majorin Bole, a Ugandan correspondent on isinijurutv, and today I bring to you the news from Uganda. I had to move up to KCCA looking for the Lord Mayor, that is His Lordship Elias Lukwago, to find out some information about the trending news. We all know, and I know you have watched on different social medias, that some of the honorables have been detained. They have asked for bail. They have been given bail before even reaching to their homes of residence, rearrested again, and as we speak to date, they are still detained. And His Lordship, the Lord Mayor, Elias Lukwago, happens to be one of the advocates that have piqued interest in seeking justice and fairness for these honorables. Like you'll be hearing from him, we are right in his office, and I will request you to listen in to him, and perhaps it will make our communication. And yes, as one of our values are to speak for the voiceless, we hope that justice shall prevail at the end of the day. And then as we're still moving around looking for news, we ended up in Mengo, where there was a debate on the recent, we can call it the latest movement by the opposition parties. We found ourselves at the Justice Forum. Justice Forum is one of those NGOs that unite the different opposition parties for the same cause, and the cause is definitely, they believe that at the end of the day, justice shall be prevailed. Or the ordinary citizen's voice shall be heard out of their plea, out of their cries, out of their lamentations and actions. So they talked about basically what was happening today. It was a debate organized for the youths about that current movement known as the Red Card Front. As you'll be listening in, we found one of, to me, I call him a cadre in opposition, His Excellency Dr. Kanokiza Besje, and he was the guest of honor at the launch of the Red Card for the youths. Please, I encourage you to listen in and watch in the news. Keep following us, keep liking us on isinijurutv. Thank you very much as you enjoy the findings of the day. Thank you very much. We are at the Lord Mayor's offices. That is our Lord Mayor, Elias Lukwago. And it's nothing much that brings us here but the pertinent issue that is happening in our country, Uganda. We've heard across the globe that some of our nobles will hear from him, since he knows more, this morning, and later on we'll see what happens. All we are seeking is justice and fairness to both nobles and ordinary citizens of Uganda. Thank you.
Lord Mayor Elias Lukwago, like I introduced, I work for isinijurutv, it's African TV, and we want to hear the current situation of our nobles. That is Noble Sekinya and Noble Sewanya.
Well, these are ordinary members of parliament, and they are people who were elected here, and they are serving in the Parliament of Uganda. One is a member of Parliament for Kawempe North, Honorable Sejirinya, and another one of Machimbe West. Initially, they were summoned to Masaka Police to answer charges of murder, We appeared there, they were interrogated, granted the police bond, and they are directed to return. And when they returned to police, they were dragged to court and charged with murder. And obviously they were remanded. So we started on the process of applying for bail, but subsequently the charges again were amended to add on the count of terrorism and abetting terrorism. They were granted bail on condition that they pay cash of Uganda shillings 20 million each, which they paid. Of course, there were other conditions, but the most, fundamental one was about paying cash of 20 million, which was paid. But subsequently, again, they were rearrested in a very brutal manner and taken to some ungazetted places where they were detained for some time. And subsequently, again, driven back to Masaka, where they were put on fresh charges of murder. We applied for bail again. Unfortunately, the court declined on grounds that they are influential in society and they are likely to interfere with the investigations, and also, given the gravity of the offenses, that is terrorism, abetting terrorism, murder, attempted murder, that they are likely to abscond from justice, to abscond from the jurisdiction of court. So it was on that premise that court declined to grant them bail, and we feel like a court did not exercise its powers judiciously. There was abuse of there was abuse of that discretionary powers given to courts by court making that absurd decision that they are likely to interfere with investigation given their status in society, meaning any particular person who has gotten a position of influence in the country, once you are in, you will never get bail, if we are to go by that precedent. Because like myself, I'm the Lord Mayor, I'm influential in society. So if today I'm alleged to have committed a capital offense, that would mean I'm not entitled to bail because I'm influential in society. So we find that decision rather outrageous and absurd, and we are challenging it in an appellate court. So that's where we are now.
Yes, so we have seen you in the media. We've seen that one of the nobles that is detained, that is pretty specific. When I was saying here, we have seen that his health status he's not in good shape. We've seen on different social medias when he's showing the media, the different medias, his feet. And we see it's a bit rough. What is happening at the moment? As you an advocate and you're not aware.
Well, you've heard from their own testimonies even before court that they were tortured, and that assertion has not been controverted with evidence from the prisons authorities or any other security agents. It's not even on camera. If you got those footages, it's clear they were tortured. The manner in which they were arrested was rather brutal, inhuman and degrading, and they were subjected to that kind of horrendous brutality. So from there, they developed complications, of course. So we really don't know as of now, because surgery, his foot is rotting. We are not told what it's all about. Of course, we brought a history of his medication. He has been to several health facilities before he was arrested and detained. He had some underlying issues. He had gotten treatment from Nairobi. He was actually one time admitted at Nairobi Hospital, where he received treatment for some grave illness. And he was also treated from Germany and elsewhere. So, and Alan has also complained about brutality that was meted out against him. So we have demanded that they should be subjected to thorough examination. We get medical attention from better facilities, which we are yet to receive. The other day, Sejirinya collapsed. That was actually yesterday. He collapsed, literally. He collapsed, and he was, transferred to Murago Hospital, where he got some treatment. But we understand now he has been taken back, though still in a very, very weak state. And he has not been thoroughly examined to get to understand what the nature of the problem is. Because we have fears that the reason why the foot is rotting away, probably it could be related to cancer or gangrene or any other serious ailment. But that has not been examined. And this is now the matter of concern for all of us.
Yes, that's a bit absurd. To our viewers, before we leave you, Lord Mayor, what we have heard you say that yes, we have seen the steps you have taken to make sure that justice, at least fairly, perhaps fairly, is granted to these nobles. But from the look of things, it seems to be taking ages. And then you look at the current situation, like that, the unhealth mode that they are in. What do you think should be done? Do you think they can be of any help, that justice can be arrived at?
You see, there is a common adage that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. This is a matter which touches universal rights. It's not about these individuals who are facing it rough right now, but it's about rights which are universal in nature, declared under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, rights which are also granted under the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, and also rights which are granted within the East African Treaty and in our individual constitutional documents, like the Bill of Rights we have in Chapter 4 of our Constitution. I think it is also replicated elsewhere in other constitutional documents of all the East African countries, the partner states. So it's incumbent upon all of us to have some interventions made across the board, even the East African community and all this, to hold this regime to account so that they respect fundamental human rights. Our record here is quite appalling. The violation of rights is quite alarming in Uganda, and this can spill over to other countries in the East Africa. So if we are to have those rights respected, it's a call, it's a clarion call on the part of the partner states in East Africa to see that these rights are respected. The right against brutality, the rights against torture, the civil liberties guaranteed to all the people, regardless of their tribe, creed, religion, color, whatever race. So all these rights must be respected. They are universal in nature. So that is the call. They shouldn't treat it as an isolated incident happening to just two honorable members of parliament. It's a matter which is broad in nature and should be approached in a holistic manner. That is my call to the East African community.
Today, I saw a post from Dr. Kiza Besigye on Facebook also giving main concern and focusing so much on education because education is the father and mother of every profession and every governance system in our country and around the global scale. Honorable Kakuru Edson from the education sector, we've seen you participating in very many activism for the right for teachers and the education sector. What is the crisis in our education sector, and what is the way forward if we are to work on this so that you can bring some hope home?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are hungry and angry young people who desire to get back our country, to put it where we want it to be. My heart bleeds when I'm moving on the streets of Kampala and I'm seeing very many young people from nursery to university level running to school. I must say there is a lot that is left to be desired. We are living in the present that purely promises nothing for the young people. Ladies and gentlemen, okera no yambara uniform ogenda ku ssomero. I'll try to use Uganda for some audiences, for our parents. Kubanga, there is something that you know that your parents don't know. They think taking you to school is enough. Okera no yambara uniform for 16 years. And at the end of the day, you enroll for another course that is looking for a job. By the time you clock 35, you are a disappointed fellow. And the best you can do is to sit somewhere and discuss mwaliko. Notandiko gabana fetwaliko. Fetwasoma. You think education is just a measurement of the levels of English that you speak. Having a WhatsApp, Snapchat account, you think it is the best that you can have. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here not to put on suits. We are here not to show off that we are the best. We are here because of the crisis. The reason as to why I'm with all of you maybe is because I desire to see something change right now in our country. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, the education sector. We will start with a curriculum review. I'll use just 3 minutes, just like we were informed. We need an immediate curriculum review. There is what we call the subject specialization. Students are being taught from nursery up to senior 4 the same things over and over again. You are not empowering these young people to innovatively come up with solutions affecting their country. They are being taught about the British Columbia, Saskatchewan, Massachusetts, Northern Carolina, yet we are having floods affecting people in Kasese. Friends, this is the crisis we are talking about. If we look at the subject specialization, let us empower these young people. China realized that they had a crisis. Chairman Mao Zedong and the people during that time sat and said, how best can we support our people? And they empowered the education sector. That is why everything comes from China. Because they empowered their education sector. They empowered the younger people. Ladies and gentlemen, the subjects that we are doing are not practical at all. I saw the president saying, actually I don't have to call him the president, Mr. Museveni, saying that I think I will pay the science teachers better. Dear friends, I'm a teacher of English and literature, and we have suffered not because we are dense, but because of the fake and rotten system. Because if you are doing sciences, but I'm good at poetry, I'm a good writer, so I don't have any problem with you. There is something that you can do to develop our country, but I can also add something towards the development of my country. So you don't have to say that you're prioritizing science teachers over arts teachers, but rather provide the required platform to support these people. Privatization of educational institutions. The teachers, the school owners are suffering. We are saying the school fees are very high, but it is because of the rotten system. we have not been in position to support these school owners. Amabanja gafuusa amabanja. The educational resources are very expensive. What do you have to do about that? Ebitabo bya buseere. Okugula ettaka twandigambye nti you look at a country like Rwanda. They have empowered their government institutions whereby even the parents have to desirably take their students in government schools. Wananya ayinza otwala omwana mu government school. Nga n'omusomesa agendayo nawulira omwagamba nti basomera bwereere era basomedde bwereere. Why? The system steals itself. Ne babba kyoko ne babba ebitabo ne babitunda. Friends, we have a crisis. As I finalize, our teachers are not empowered. Dear honorables, every person that is here, I want you to understand that I'm a fresh graduate of Makerere University. Ladies and gentlemen, my heart bleeds when you have to look for a job and you're in lockdown for 2 good years. 2 good years because your government doesn't have a plan at all. Can't you really create a database? Nomanya abasomesa abali mbitundu ebyenjawulo. Is that so hard? And you look at how best you can support them. Nti mu katundu kano, we have 7 teachers. Let them meet maybe individually these 7 students around. We can find a way of supporting them. Friends, the young people in South Africa, they stood. Education is a very good mobilizational tool. In Makerere we are close to 30,000. Abana b'essomero bali abana emitwalo 2 gyokka. Ekyo temulina kukyerabira. So let's not just put on quotes, let us act. Twetase, twegatte, tulumbe, tuwangule. Ladies and gentlemen, I submit.
Now, according to statistics, over 1,500 people fly out of the country every month. You are part of those people that fly out of the country. Why did you fly out of the country, and what should be done so that your sister, your friend can stay in the country so that they can enjoy and get what they want from another country, actually get them from here?
Thank you very much. I'm PSSTFRPPROU. The word Kadama really reckons. It's something that rings in my ears. Every time or any time a person speaks or says the word Kadama, it arouses different memories in my head and in my mind. I'm Namsimbi Esther. I'm Gisu from Mbale, where most girls that are taken to, where girls are got to be taken to the Arab world to work. I'm a graduate, 2016, from Uganda Christian University. It's a reputable university with an honors degree. And I should say, yes, I once worked as a Kadama. With my degree, I had no choice. Very many women, very many boys, very many girls are left with no choice. We do not have a choice because we are living under a crumbling state. Everything is shaky. Everything is wanting, right from the health sector to the education sector. Women are not employed. Men are not employed. We go to school with hope that after we have jobs, after we are going to have a bright future. Some of us do not come from well-off families, but our parents get their last pennies to have us get an education with hope that after acquiring this education, we are going to hold their hand to a better future. But this never happens. Like I said, I graduated in 2016. Wrote over 100 applications. I'm a capable person because I had an honors degree from my reputable university, to remind you. But I had to go to Oman. I think most of you know Oman. It's in the United Arab Emirates. I had to go to Oman in 2018 in search for a better pay, in search for hope. I thought I would get all that I needed in Oman because I had tried everything back home. I had tried a business, I tried a shop, but the taxes could not let me. The taxes levied on everything could not let a struggling fresh graduate from Uganda Christian University sustain her business. I got onto the aeroplane and went to Oman in search of a bright future. Ladies and gentlemen, this system is crippled. Right from Uganda, the companies that take our sisters and brothers belong to the Gambanogu, belong to these people in government, and they do not care what happens after you get on that plane and leave this country. Just to mention, I did not even spend 5 months in Oman. Not because I'm a lazy person, not because I'm not a poor woman's daughter that wanted a better future, but because the conditions, oh my God, the conditions could not let me breathe. I could not breathe. I chose to get back on that plane and come back to my country. Baganda waffe babonabona. Kino kitwa kifaananyi kibannange. Graduates are in Oman working as house girls. PhD holders, master degree holders are in Oman, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Dubai, working as quotas just to get 900 Ugandan shillings. But why is it so? Because the state is crumbling, and we do not, and the people in power do not want to accept. Or they know that they do not care because they are living luxurious lives at the expense of the biggest population that is suffering, who are the youth. I stay in Entebbe. I'm a Mugisu, born and raised in Entebbe, Buganda. If you go to the airport right now, buses, over 20 buses, ferry our sisters to go board planes on a daily basis. I speak this with facts on a daily basis. A lot happens after that plane, and these people don't mind. Just to give you a glimpse of my story. It was 18th August 2018 when I boarded the plane to go and work as a maid with my degree in Oman. It was all merry because I thought that all is going to be well for my mother. Because I thought all is going to be well for my siblings, being a firstborn. You know, I got on that plane, went with the help of an agent from a reputable company here in Uganda. I went to work. Reaching there, things were not as easy as I hoped them to be. Talk about being battered by a fellow woman because she's your boss. And she's going to beat you from morning to evening because she's giving you food. Because she's giving you 900 Ugandan shillings at the end of the day. Talk about attempted rape. If I survived it, there are very many sisters that do not survive this. Day in, day out, we see the news where very many bodies are retrieved back to our country. And these are our sisters that went to work with hope. All because we that have the opportunity, that have the chance, have coiled our arms and just watching. But enough is enough because we are at the bliss point. We are at the bliss point because we have been wounded. We are a population of wounded people. I just want you to picture my mother in 2018 November, because I spent in Oman 3 months to be precise. Picking me. She was psychologically eaten up, picking a daughter that was bleeding from the nose, that was bleeding from the mouth, could hardly speak. Just picture that. How she was psychologically eaten up. But she still does not have a choice because my follower is now in Dubai working for 1.2. And yet he's a graduate with a degree in accounts from a reputable university, Makerere University. This is because everything has been crippled. the system we are living in is zigizaga. Omugisa agamba tukolera nejareja mbere ya leero n'omwana asomye ng'alina essuubi nti n'ebensoma bigenda kubeera bulungi essuubi terikyaliwo. Tukolerera mbere ya leero, tukolerera tenfunyeeko olw'emiro afuneko abantu balyeko. Basista baffe abeetunda ku nguudo basoma naye tebalina choice. Bamanyiza emirimu gyabula, bamanyiza okuba bulungi biganye nga kapito gwalina gwe muliri gwe n'asalawo yeetunde. Baganda bange ekimala kimala. Nyinza okuba mbenakosebwa naye bantu bangi bakosebwa. Nyinza okuba nga nfunye omukisa okuvaayo olunaku lwaleero n'enkyogirako. Baganda baffe bangi bali eyo tebalina mukisa guno. So balina okuba eddoboozi. We have to come out and speak about these atrocities that are happening, because they are really, really happening. Era kimpa essanyu okulaba nti nno ebibiina tubyabulidde, tubitadde wali wabbali, naye twegase owa FDC avuddeyo, owa UID nvuddeyo, owa BP, owa NUP, owa Tema, tukubatidde kubanga ebirumooli. Bannange ffenna tukosebwa.
Red card, twegatte. Tulumbe. Twegatte. Tulumbe. The crisis itself speaks. The crisis of failure to thrive. That Ugandans cannot thrive. It starts in infancy. That today, after all these many years of independence, 1 of every 3 children is stunted. You are the lucky ones that have emerged out of stunting. Every 1 of 3 children is stunted. How can you have a bigger crisis when 1/3 of your population consists of stunted people? Because stunting, once you are stunted as a child, you are stunted for life. Child mortality. Every day, 465, and this is what is recorded. And our records are scanted, so we can assume that that's a small figure from the reality. 465 children die daily. At such a level of infant mortality, death in childhood, is a crisis by all standards. Infant mortality in Uganda, the recorded one I'm talking about, is now at 46 for every 1,000. If you compare it, for example, with Norway or most of Europe, the infant mortality is 2 for every 1,000. Here, 46, and that is the recorded. The reality maybe will be about 60. That's a crisis for the young people. You are saying Uganda is a country of young people. True. We are about the youngest population in the world. Half our population is below 15. Because education is not education for the sake of it. It's education to get knowledge. Knowledge to solve problems. And I was glad somebody was talking about the floods. The real problems we live with. Education must be education to solve the problems, not to get a certificate. The richest people in the world did not get degrees. It's Bill Gates, this man of Facebook. They didn't get degrees. As soon as they had knowledge,
that they could use to solve problems, they went on to get on with the work of solving problems. In the process of which they have created millions of jobs. So in Uganda we have a crisis of knowledge. And it's not just in Uganda, it's even in Africa. The gap of knowledge between Africa and the rest of the world is staggering. It is that crisis that has been deepened by absence of building knowledge for 2 years. Today, 2 years of no deliberate structured building of knowledge in the country. Today, Ugandan schools are the only schools still closed in the universe. No country on earth still has schools closed saying there is COVID. No country. No country in Africa, no country in the world except here. Ugandan schools have been also closed, the longest on earth. And yet we were already in a crisis of knowledge. So it's crisis squared. So the crisis of livelihoods, of earning, of employment, of livelihoods arises out of the crisis of knowledge. Today, most of our young people are not only unemployed, they are unemployable. They don't have the knowledge that is needed in the job market. That we must change urgently. The schools that are closed, the private schools decimated, the government schools without any knowledge in them. Even when the schools open, there will be no knowledge in those schools. But even the teachers that were there before the closure will no longer be there. Teachers should be the most treasured people in the country. Today they are the most despised in our country. Shame. So there is no need to talk much about the crisis. Everybody lives it. The question is, what do we do? And that has been indeed a very troubling question. How do we get out of the crisis? And it's good that we are having these debates, because there are all kinds of confusing noises around this subject. How do we get out of this?
My name is Sebuganda Richard, Makerere University, pursuing a bachelor's degree, Bachelor's of Biomedical Sciences. I'm in year 2. I'm from Namibia College. The truth is, the education system is really crippled, and I'm a victim. I can assure you. Right now, I'm moving something, and Julie, we shall have to strike. May I assure you on this, and I need support. The truth is, we're in Makerere, whereby we have courses which are not accredited. I personally am a victim. I'm doing a 3-year course, that is Biomedical Sciences. It has existed for 10 years. It's the most earning course, like the most paying course in Uganda. We pay that is 2.1. Remember, there is an accumulative fee. We have been in a COVID era whereby we need people to research about COVID, people to study about COVID. But the course, they have a lot of people who are benchmarking and they are preventing. I don't know. I think they are getting money out of it. It's something like a project. But if they can't accredit it, let them scrap it off. Let them scrap it off. Because the truth is we are suffering. Imagine you have studied all your years. Some of us are from poor backgrounds. We are from poor backgrounds. And the state is doing nothing about it.
Yes, that has been your own Naula Marjorie Bole, a Ugandan correspondent on isinijurutv. Kindly keep watching us and like our YouTube channel, isinijurutv. Thank you very much. Thank you and kind regards to all of you, my viewers. Thank you. Naula Marjorie Bole.